Welcome to the 110 Domestic Troop Travel Tutorial for the Girl Scout Council of the nation's capital. This tutorial will be your guide as you work with girls on planning a successful trip anywhere in the United States. By the end of this tutorial, you will be able to explain the importance of progression and girl ownership, conduct an initial planning session with your girls, brainstorm with girls what is financially possible, identify health and safety guidelines, implement strategies to prevent conflicts, and identify ideas for post-travel reflection. Let's get started. Troop travel is a fun way for girls to discover, connect, and take action in the world around them. Trips can be used to generate interest in a new activity or to wrap up a series of activities they have already completed. When helping Girl Scouts plan trips, it is important to progressively increase the challenges they undertake. Start small and build up. Their grade level plus their experience traveling as a troop will help you guide them. For Girl Scout daisies, this might be a trip to the grocery store to learn about produce, or a local restaurant to watch pizza being made. More experienced girls might have a bigger trip to the zoo or aquarium. For daisies, there's still a lot to discover in the world just outside their door. Girl Scout brownies might take a local day trip, perhaps trying a new mode of transportation, or riding without parents for the first time. At this age, you are still giving the group choices. Do they want to go to the Air and Space Museum or the Natural History Museum? Perhaps to the Lincoln Memorial or Washington Monument. After Girl Scout juniors have experienced day trips and overnight camping, they are prepared for longer trips within a 1 to 2 day travel range. Juniors in our council might enjoy a trip to Philadelphia or a weekend in Williamsburg, or perhaps to Savannah, Georgia to see the birthplace of Juliet Gordon Low. Other favorite destinations for a more experienced troop include the Girl Scout headquarters in New York City or Disney World in Orlando, Florida. Girl Scout cadets with experience are ready for extended trips, maybe internationally, but most likely within the United States, trying out new modes of transportation or trips to Alaska or Hawaii increase the adventure for girls of this age. By cadets, girls are ready to take more responsibility planning their trips. Girl Scout seniors and ambassadors who have had other experiences may strive for international travel and more extended trips. Their travel readiness can be more dependent on experience and maturity than age. An experienced cadet might be ready for an extended trip, whereas an untraveled ambassador might need several day trips or overnights for traveling abroad. We've discussed the importance of letting girls progressively gain experience. Now, let's talk about ways to conduct an initial planning session. How do we get started? Start by having the girls brainstorm all of their ideas. Keep these guidelines in mind. One person should speak at a time. Write down all ideas. Don't discuss or judge any of the ideas at this time. Allow everyone to contribute. Evaluate ideas, weighing the pros and cons, and choose the top 3 to 5 choices. Where should we go? Before making a final decision, have the girls gather more information. They can research online finding interesting activities and associated costs for their top choices. You might consider creating an information sheet on the top choices. This way, girls can review them at home with their families. When would we go? Once the girls have chosen their destination, it's time to decide when to go. Have the girls discuss possible times to plan the trip. Consider school schedules, family vacations, holidays, and potential off-season travel. Also think about, do the girls have the same spring break? Would their parents let them miss school? Is there a teacher work day you could plan for? How would we get there? Have a conversation with your girls to help them make a decision. Will you be driving, flying, or going by boat? Roll over the symbols below to read some advantages and disadvantages of the different transportation options. Where would we stay? There are a lot of options when deciding where to stay. Campgrounds, hotels, with host families, in college dorms, churches, and youth hostels. You might consider the local museums. They often have sleep-in programs. What would we do when we get there? What expectations do the girls and adults have? Do they want to earn badges, build new skills, explore cultures, sightsee, letterbox, or sit back and relax? Who would go with us? While ensuring the girl-adult ratio is met, what do the girls prefer regarding siblings or additional adults? If family members attend, they must remember the troop leaders are in charge. Girls and adults will be expected to participate in all activities listed on the itinerary. If you have a smaller troop, you might consider pairing up with another troop and taking advantage of large group discounts. When planning an itinerary, write everything down and review it with the girls. Use 1-hour increments to divide up each day. Schedule snack, restroom breaks, shopping, and free time. Consider times when the group might split up, and be sure to allow time in the evening for girls to wind down before bed. Later, when you're ready, you will have a planning session to solidify the itinerary, making any changes or updates. You will also want to double-check the dates and times on tickets, confirmations, and share details with parents. Girls can help make reservations for accommodations, activities, and flights. Discuss with them about how to collect information, and help them create a list of questions. Allow them to make decisions on the tickets, times, and details. When they are ready, have them call to secure the reservations. In the weeks before travel, spend troop meeting time preparing for the trip. The girls might study a map of the location, learn the history of the area and the people that live there, discuss tipping, and role-play different situations that might arise on the trip, like what to do if they're separated from the group, or if they miss the subway. The week before travel can be very hectic. Here's a last-minute checklist. Be sure to do any last-minute car maintenance, charge your electronics, review the packing list, print all confirmations and necessary documents, collect photo IDs, compile emergency contact numbers, and review the projected weather conditions. The number one rule with packing is pack light, and that goes for everybody, adults too. Consider what bag is appropriate for the trip. A backpack if you're hiking, a soft side duffel if you're packing a car. When flying, label suitcases with names and a troop identifier, like a ribbon. Don't forget to review TSA requirements and extra charges for oversized and overweight luggage. Have the girls create the packing list together and establish the trip dress code. Now that we've talked about the logistics of trip planning with your girls, let's look at the financial component of troop travel. Money planning is a valuable learning experience girls can utilize long past their years in Girl Scouting. Help girls think through the obvious and hidden costs of travel. Before you itemize the cost of the entire trip, try this exercise: buying a gift. Help girls divide into small groups. Instruct them to write down all steps involved in purchasing and giving a gift to a friend. Remind them of hidden costs like gas and tape. Have the groups report out the cost of the item versus the cost of the item plus the process. Now, help them write an expense sheet for their trip. Depending on your trip, the girls might need to discuss finances up to 2 years before they travel. Use the expense sheet they have developed and help the girls assess the feasibility of the trip. If they decide it's too much, they can consider ways to keep costs down, like lodging at a campground, reducing the trip by a day, or researching inexpensive activities. It's okay to aim high with big expectations, especially with good foresight and money-earning plans. But troops should always have a plan B, or alternative trip in mind, perhaps at half the cost. It's wise to anticipate the potential roadblocks the troop might hit along the way. The girls should consider how they will collect the funds. Will the money come from troop fundraising, individual money earning, or family contributions? Also consider, will adult chaperones pay their own way? What if a family can't afford the trip? What financial assistance is available? A fun trip is a great motivator for money earning. Which product sale, event, or program will the girls participate in? Help them decide how many events they need to host and what each girl needs to contribute. Remember, for all money earning events, use the B250 to request approval from your service unit, and be sure to submit a money earning report afterward. To create a budget, use the expense sheet and the projected income from the money earning events. Estimate for meals and at least 20% for incidentals and contingencies. When the per person cost is computed, the girls can assess their plans and make any necessary adjustments. For a list of budget busters, refer to the 110 handout for this tutorial. We have covered the importance of progression and girl ownership, how to conduct an initial planning meeting, and how to brainstorm the financial possibilities with your girls. We will now discuss the important health and safety guidelines that help to make travel run smoothly. Let's begin. Remember, safety first. It is important that your girls read the guidelines themselves and have an understanding of the safety policies and practices. Have them read Chapter 4 in Volunteer Essentials, called Safety Wise, and review the safety activity checkpoints for any planned activities. To locate the safety activity checkpoints, go on our website under Leader Resources. A leader must take 101 basic leadership training before taking girls away from the troop meeting site. Check Chapter 4 in Volunteer Essentials, called Safety Wise, to see if your trip will require a Level 1 or Level 2 first aider. For camping and backpacking trips, you'll need a camp qualified adult. Girls can participate in researching the certifications needed for their trip and ensuring the certifications are completed well before the trip departure. In the 101 Basic Leadership Training, you'll learn a lot about forms. The appendix of Volunteer Essentials has some handy charts to simplify which forms are needed when. A troop event packet is a group of forms the leader will need to compile for the troop before taking any field trips. You should find this information in Volunteer Essentials. In the next 2 slides, we will give a general review of these 2 forms, the B240 Troop Activity Notification Form and the B241 Special Notification Form. Be sure to check out the appendix of Volunteer Essentials for a chart clarifying their specific uses. Before you go, let us know. The B240 Troop Activity Notification Form is your way of letting Council know of each specific trip or activity you take with your girls. Use this form when sleeping over less than 3 nights, camping on non-council campsites, or participating in high-adventure activities using a pre-approved vendor. Also use this form when traveling 51 to 200 miles outside council boundaries. This form must be submitted electronically 2 weeks prior to travel. The B241 Special Notification Form gives Council the opportunity to approve trips that are over 3 nights and/or more than 201 miles outside the Council boundaries. This form includes several parts: signatures of your service unit manager and field director, the trip itinerary, a participant roster with addresses and emergency numbers, and a detailed travel budget. Be sure to submit this form 4 to 6 weeks before departure. Optional insurance coverage is available for any Girl Scout activity that involves non-Girl Scouts or lasts longer than 3 days and 2 nights. For as little as 11 cents per day per participant, you can purchase extended activity insurance. To review these plans and determine the best option for your trip, learn more in the SafetyWise section of Volunteer Essentials. Remember, the insurance must be purchased with a check payable to GSCNC, an itinerary, and roster. If you have additional questions, contact Council staff in the Human Resources Department. Let's review. With all field trips, you will need to compile a troop event packet. In some situations, you may need a B240 or B241, and possibly extended activity insurance. Let Chapter 4, SafetyWise, and the Troop Travel Appendix in Volunteer Essentials be your guide. Prepare for emergencies. Talk with girls about the importance of preparing for emergencies before they happen. Allow them to check the first aid kit, review the hospital locations near their destination, and copy the GSCNC emergency procedures. You should also issue health forms requiring a physician's signature, exchange cell phone numbers with trip participants, prepare an information card with lodging addresses and emergency numbers, and review the importance of leaving expensive belongings at home. While you're traveling, remember these safety tips. Buddy all the time. Even for adults, the buddy system should be used at all times. Whether you're planning on sticking together or scheduling some small group time, always maintain a meeting place at all locations. And remind the girls to stay with their bags in airports, train stations, and hotel lobbies. If your travels have you staying in a hotel, remember room safety. Use the chain, bolt, and viewport. Always check the sliding doors, and never allow strangers into the room. Be mindful of the people around when girls are exchanging phone numbers. And remember, store cash safely. Traveling always brings the unexpected. Great planning is important, but in the moment, a positive attitude and good sense of humor go a long way. The health and safety guidelines we just covered are very important when traveling with Girl Scouts. Preventing conflicts is another area that will relieve stress and anxiety for you, the leader. Let's consider some strategies for this. conflicts will arise, that you can be sure of. Addressing potential areas of conflict, such as schedules, finances, and behaviors, before they happen can make things easier to manage. Commitments are important to secure early on in the planning process. Have the girls communicate the trip goals, plans, and details with their families. You might issue an agreement letter, securing commitments before you make any purchases. You should develop payment contracts and troop behavior contracts, and host participant and family meetings before traveling. Let's review these contracts and meetings in depth. Payment contracts that are signed by parents in the beginning help deter arguments about finances. You can create a contract once you've drafted your budget and itinerary. You want to include a payment schedule, yes/no decision dates, cancellation policies, late penalties, reimbursement procedures, special cases like adding new girls later in the planning process, and the troop money earning plans and expectations. A troop behavior contract can curb disagreements while traveling and help to make sure the trip is as fun as possible. The girls should develop this together. You might include when electronics can be used, the dress code, and an agreed upon bedtime. Two weeks before the trip, have a participant meeting with the girls who will be going. Girls should receive a packet with troop luggage tags, a final itinerary, an emergency card with numbers and hotel information. You might also have them bring their luggage already packed for weighing, or to see if they truly packed light. Also 2 weeks before, host an adult participant meeting, reviewing the roles of the adults. Are they chaperones, first aiders, lifeguards, or Camp and High Adventure certified adults? Let them know what is expected of them, and remind them the leader must hold final authority in all situations, since they are tasked with following the Girl Scout safety guidelines. Remind them, on Girl Scout trips, adults must refrain from using drugs, alcohol, and firearms. They must never smoke in the presence of girls, and cannot participate in any form of verbal or physical abuse. A week or two before the trip is a good time to have a family meeting with the parents or guardians of the girls on the trip. You can discuss safety procedures, collect final paperwork, review the itinerary, answer any last-minute questions, and introduce the chaperones. Whether the girls traveling in the group are meeting for the first time, or if they've known each other for years, it is important to prepare them for their time together. Ice-breaking activities, team-building games, and group decisions about expectations will lay a strong foundation for the trip ahead. Supporting inclusion is a core value of Girl Scouting. All girls can have an enriching experience. Girls with disabilities can always be included when traveling. For ideas, help, or questions, visit the website listed below, or call the GSCNC Inclusion Specialist. Now that we have some ideas for preventing conflicts during the trip, let's identify some ways for girls to reflect on their trip after they've returned. Help the girls capture the memories as well as the lessons learned. If they kept a daily journal during the trip, use meeting time to print out photos and scrapbook them into books. You may choose to use their pictures to earn a badge or patch. Reflection is a crucial part of the trip process. Consider having the girls share their journal entries and reflections. They should discuss what went well and what they would do differently next time. They can compile receipts and put together financial reports for parents, as well as write thank you notes for contributing adults. Congratulations! You've completed the 110 Domestic Troop Travel online tutorial. To document your completion, simply write the course title and today's date on your training card or training record. To learn more about troop travel, consider registering for this class in person, participating in a travel conference call, or joining a roundtable on travel at a local meeting. All of these resources can be found on our website, www.gscnc.org, under For Adults and Training and Support. Looking for more information on international troop travel? Look for the International Troop Travel Toolkit, available in any Girl Scout shop or online for download. And keep a lookout for the 130 International Troop Travel online tutorial coming soon. Thank you for helping girls grow through Girl Scouting. Happy travels!